The Paracave Podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Leagues Club, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, BTZD Clothing, and the official media partner of the Paracave Podcast, the Parramatta Times.
G'day, it's Gus Walland here from Gotcha for Life and Triple M. I'd love to invite you along to the Mental Fitness Gym. Go to the mentalfitnessgym.org. That is a place where you can pick up some exercises to build your mental fitness, to work on that emotional muscle, those muscles in your head that are so powerful. Please come and join us at the mentalfitnessgym.org for all that stuff to build your emotional muscle and your mental fitness.
Welcome to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous Paracave.
And yes, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. Troy Warner here, and this is the NRLW Weekly Wrap, and it was round number 7 in the NRLW over the weekend. Unfortunately, I don't have Kiana Takarangi with me. Commitments as well. Hopefully I can get her back for the finals and we can chat about NRLW. But I will go through the NRLW. Now, I didn't catch much of the Saturday action, but we'll go through the results anyway. The Cowboys got a win over the West Tigers, 24 points to 22. It was the Tigers actually scored 5 tries to the Cowboys 4. The Cowboys converted 4 out of 4. Unfortunately, the Tigers only 1 out of 5 conversions. So, and it was 12-4 to the Cowboys at half time. So it looks like a really good fight back from the Tigers, who unfortunately haven't had a win this year in the NRLW, but they look like they are pretty competitive in their games, just not getting the wins. And look, that will frustrate Coach Brett Kamali, but look, I guess they have had a couple of injuries, most notably to their captain, Kezi Apps, who is out for the season, unfortunately. But look, a couple of weeks to go, maybe they can get a win in this season and maybe, just maybe, jump off the bottom of the ladder, although their for and against isn't too good. So, but they will want to try and get a couple of wins to get off the bottom of the ladder. The Cowboys, they sit themselves in 6th spot now on the ladder on 8 points. So 3 teams on 8 points now in the NRLW. It is only a top 4 that make it through to the finals. So at this point in time, the Knights sit in 4th spot on 8 points, the Eels on 8 points, and the Cowboys on 8 points. So a couple of rounds to go in this competition. But look, unfortunately, the Tigers, just an unfortunate season for them. A couple of crucial injuries, and they go down again to the Cowboys there up in Townsville. The Dragons and the Raiders, they played at Cogra Oval, Netstrata Jubilee Stadium, in front of a good crowd, 5,500 there. The Raiders got up 38 points to 34, very high scoring game. What I did see out of this game was a great chip and chase, or it wasn't really a chip, it was probably a little bit of a kick from Tegan Berry, and a regather and runs away and scores a try. So that was a highlight for the Dragons. Unfortunately, the Dragons, there was a bit of news throughout the week that Coach Jamie Soward would not be renewed for 2025. He will see out the rest of 2024. at the Dragons. He's made a promise to his team that he will be here for the remaining games. That is just the sort of person that Jamie is. So he will see out the season at the Dragons. Unfortunately, they are coming ninth in the competition. Only 2 wins this season. Their next opponent is actually the Tigers. So a bottom of the table clash next week. So, look, they'll be confident they can get the win. But that was the Saturday action in the NRLW. So the Cowboys and the Raiders getting wins there. Now, fast forward to the Sunday in the NRLW. And look, this was a game that most people wanted to watch. It was a top of the table clash. The Roosters and Sharks at PointsBet Stadium. And look, what a surprising result this one was. That is for sure. It was 40 points to 0. The Roosters got the win over the Sharks. Unbelievable. The Sharks undefeated this season going into this game. They were on actually on an 8-game winning streak. But undefeated this season in the NRL, flying high on top of the ladder. But the Roosters went into this game, PointsBet Stadium, with a different mindset and one that they wanted to make a statement. And boy, did they make a statement. 22-0 at half-time, 40-0 at full-time. Mia Wood got a double. Absolutely outstanding. Olivia Koenig was pretty good, I thought. Got a try as well in the 11th minute. I thought she was pretty good. Jocelyn Kelleher, her kicking game. There was a try there. I think it was Olivia Koenig's try, actually. Jocelyn Kelleher has just put up a towering kick, and it's just bounced, and Koenig was there on the spot. A kick is only as good as its chase, and Olivia was there to get the ball and plant it down for a try. Sam Bremner, she got a try in the 14th minute. A little bit of a backline movement and spotted a gap and just went herself and got a try there. But the Roosters, they were without Millie Elliott, who was suspended for this game. But they really stood up, the Roosters, and, as I said, made a statement against the Sharks. And they are now on 10 points, second place on the ladder. They've jumped up on the ladder. They are only 2 points behind the Sharks. And the Sharks have got a tough game this week against the Broncos, who had a win over Newcastle, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But the Sharks, was that a concerning loss, or was that the loss that they had to have? Who knows? But obviously they didn't want to lose by 40 points. But the Roosters, they wanted to make a statement. Well done, the Roosters. There was a really enjoyable game to watch, to be honest, at PointsBet Stadium yesterday. The next game was the game that I was really interested to watch. It was the Parramatta Eels up against the Gold Coast Titans at Eric Tweedale Stadium. And look, it was a great day for rugby league, and congratulations to Rachel Pearson, who played her 25th NRLW game. She has played for the Dragons and now Parramatta. Elsie Albert got a double. Scored the first try of the game and also the game-winning try, I guess you could say, in the 66th minute as well. So a double there for Elsie, who she was outstanding in this game. And one of the tries of the year, I think, anyway, and I could be a little bit biased, was from Rory Owen. A kick return, shrugs off a defender, runs down the sideline, bit of a swerve on Ivana Paliti, the Gold Coast Titans fullback, and goes over to score. If you get a chance, just check it out on YouTube or check it out on the Parramatta Eels NRLW socials. It was a cracker of a try. Absolutely outstanding from Rory Owen. And a debut season as well. So that was a great try. It was 12-8 at half time, so it was still anybody's game. The Gold Coast, they got the lead in that second half, and there was something unbelievable stat, like there was something like 50 tackles inside Parramatta Eels 20 yesterday, and the Eels defence, it was just solid. It kept the Titans out, but unfortunately they did let in one try, but there was many times where they could have let in 2, 3, 4 tries, because the Gold Coast, they were just attacking Parramatta. They got set after set, but the Eels defence was strong and solid and kept them out. And once Rory and Elsie Albert scored those tries, you knew that Parramatta were going to go on to win. And look, it was a pretty crucial win for Parramatta. They had 2 straight losses before that, so it was a really important game for Parramatta, and they got the win. They are now on 8 points in 5th position, just below the Newcastle Knights on for and against. The Gold Coast Titans, last year's grand finalists, they are in 7th spot on 6 points at the moment. So they got a tough game next week against the Newcastle Knights. So it's not looking too good for you Titans fans, making the top 4, but you never know. If they can get a couple of wins in a row in these last couple of rounds, then they may just sneak in, but it's going to be tough. That's why at this time of year in the NRLW, it's very critical to get wins, because it is only a short season, and every win is crucial. The next game that was played was the Newcastle Knights up against the Brisbane Broncos up at McDonald Jones Stadium, and it was won 32 points to 24 by the Broncos. Now, early on in the game, Newcastle, they looked in control, 12-4 at half time, and it looked like the Newcastle Knights, they were in control of this game at home, in front of their home fans. But Ali Brigginshaw, Romy Teitzel, they just stepped it up, and look, Romy scored a good try at the end there, converted it as well. 6 tries to 4 it was in the end. Ali Brigginshaw as well stepped it up. She did a great pass to Brianna Clark, who scored a try, the front rower for the Brisbane Broncos. And the Broncos came from behind and just got the victory over the Newcastle Knights. And look, when Shanice Parker scored this try early on in the second half, you thought that Newcastle were on the way to a victory. They were controlling the game really well. But Brisbane, Newcastle were 18-4 up early on in that second half, and as I said, you thought they were in control of this game, but Brisbane, wow, they stepped it up and they got the win. They now get into 3rd position on the ladder on 10 points. I think that's 5 wins in a row. They started off the season slow with 2 losses in a row, but have now won their last 5. So, look, along with the Sharks, you would have to say that the Broncos are probably the form side of the competition at the moment, and are really giving this competition a really good shake to become again premiers of this NRLW competition. Next week they face the Sharks, so another great game to watch there. Well, look, they're all great games to watch, but two of the competition heavyweights going into this round, the Sharks and the Broncos, so that one will be a great one to watch as well. So that was the NRLW Weekly Wrap for this week. I think I was really impressed with the Broncos, the way that they came back from behind and got the win. The Eels defence, that was really solid, and that was the, I guess you could say, backbone of their victory, keeping the Titans out. And the Roosters, they were pretty outstanding as well to get that win, 40 points to nil. Making the statement against the Sharks. So, look, going into round number 8, it has the West Tigers taking on the Dragons. Now, that game is on Thursday night at Leichhardt Oval, so no more NRL on a Thursday night. This one is NRLW on a Thursday night, 7:45 p.m. at Leichhardt Oval. The Dragons taking on the Tigers. The first game on the Saturday, so 2 games on the Saturday, 2 games on the Sunday. The first game on the Saturday is 12 p.m. up there at Seabus Super Stadium on the Gold Coast. Sees the Brisbane Broncos taking on the Cronulla Sharks, 1 versus 3rd. So that should be a cracker of a game. And the next game, also at Seabus Super Stadium on the Gold Coast, sees the Gold Coast Titans taking on the defending premiers, the Newcastle Knights, in 4th position. So that one at 1:45. So if you're up there in Queensland and want to watch a bit of rugby league, some great competition, double header at Seabus Super Stadium, kicking off at 12 p.m. On Sunday, the games are the Roosters versus the Cowboys. So the Roosters in 2nd, the Cowboys in 6th at 12 p.m. This game being played at Industry Group Stadium at Gold Coast, on the Gosford, I should say, not Gold Coast, Gosford, and the Raiders taking on the Eels down there in Canberra, 1:45 p.m. on Sunday. So the 8th place Raiders taking on the 5th place Eels. So, look, a crucial game for the Eels. They basically need to win every game now to try and crack it into that top 4. So, look, every game is like a finals game for Parramatta. So, hopefully they can get the win there. So that's what's coming up next week. Thank you very much for listening to this NRLW Weekly Wrap. As I said, I really enjoy watching the women play in rugby league. They are such entertaining games. And if you can, do yourself a favour and get out to one of these games, or indeed watch it on Channel 9 or Fox League. That is for sure. It's a little bit hard sometimes, the timings of these games, but at this end of the competition now, the teams are used to playing and used to each other, and we're seeing some big scores being scored and also some great tries being scored as well. So it's really getting down to the business end of the season in the NRLW. That is for sure. Now, that will be round 8. There is round 9, and then finals. So only 2 weeks to go in the regular season. That is why every game is crucial for a victory this season. So those teams that are just outside the top 4, they will want to get the wins to get into that top 4. So that's why every game is crucial. Thank you very much for listening to this one. I really appreciate it. You'll find this on Apple and Spotify if you already found it anyway. But tell your family and friends about it, and give the Instagram and Facebook page a follow as well. Thank you very much for listening, and go Para!
Hello, Paracave podcast listeners. My name is Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty and long-term sponsor of the Paracave podcast. If you're looking to sell your property or buy or just curious to know what your property is worth in today's market, give me a call today on 0421 588 445.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. See you next time.